The juice is loose.
The juice is finally loose after 35 years later. And does it live up to the hype? Does this sequel live up to the first one? Well, let's get into this non-spoiler free review. After a family tragedy occurs, 3 generations of the Dietz family finds themselves back in Winter River. And that could only mean one thing. The juice is bound to get loose once again and cause mischief and havoc on the family. This movie, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of the fans are gonna love this movie. It does pay homage to the original, and I think it does it well. I was scared that this movie was gonna be purely based off of nostalgia, and it does pay homage to this nostalgia, but this movie also knows not to lean too much into it. It gives you just enough to give the original viewer and keep them satisfied, but this movie is a movie that doesn't take itself serious, and I'm glad it didn't do that. This movie knows to keep itself grounded and give the fans what they want. Great practical effects, breaking the fourth wall when it can, and just giving us great laughs and great times with Beetlejuice himself. I had a great time with this film. Honestly, some of the jokes for me personally didn't land, but the audience had a great time with this film. I watched this twice with 2 different crowds. I watched it with the critic crowd. The critic crowd was a little bit more harsh on the film, didn't laugh to certain things, but the audience crowd, seeing them laugh and having a good time was amazing. The practical effects in here are just as good as the original. Practical effects is a dying art, so to see it again on the big screen, seeing Tim Burton do what he does best, giving us great practical effects and jokes, was a great time. I honestly have a feeling that the audience are going to really love this film. I don't see the audiences really hating this film because it does really keep it close to the original as much as it can, but adding new flavor and few new sauces to it that I think people are going to enjoy. Yes, this movie has a really nice Halloween autumn feel that I think a lot of people are going to watch back to back for years to come with the original Beetlejuice. I think it's going to become a staple in a household for back-to-back reruns for the Halloween season. Jenna Ortega and everyone in here just gave us a ballpark performance, but my stand-up performance for me was William Dafoe. William Dafoe, even though he has little to no screen time, but he's funny every time he's on the screen, and I think he really steals the show for me. I honestly enjoyed it. My only downside for this film is going to be there's too many plot lines going on at once. In the short amount of runtime for the hour and 30 minutes, there's so much going on and side plots that it doesn't really develop itself correctly, that it kind of leaves you unsatisfied. And I think a lot of people are going to really kind of look over it. I think most of the audience is not really going to pay attention to that, but I think that's one thing that hurts it for me personally, that there's so much plot line that it's like, okay, it doesn't need to be added, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, I think this movie is a fun time. Aside from that, I think that's the only thing that really hurts this film for me, but I think a lot of the audience is going to really love the callbacks to the original. So if I had to rate this film out of 10, this film is, from a critic standpoint, a 7 out of 10. It's not a great film, but it has certain things that I loved from it, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this film. If I give it an audience score, I'm going to be honest, I think it's a 9 out of 10. I think the audience is going to really enjoy this movie. So let me know in the comments below, will you be watching it? If you watch it, what are your thoughts? And hit that follow button, and I'll see you in the next movie review.